Hi film lovers, this is me Ali, and if you're new to the channel, I cover the most dark and psychological thriller films that you have never heard of in this channel. So if you're into it, if you're into dark psychological thrillers, then this channel is going to be a gold mine for you. So for that, subscribe to the channel and let's get started in today's film. Today we're going to cover Eden Lake, which critics has called it the most brutal English film of all time. Let's get into the video, shall we? So the film starts off by Jenny. She's a school teacher and she's been picked up by Steve, who is going to be her husband. They're driving into the countryside for a romantic getaway at a remote quarry lake. They stopped at a local inn there, and this is where they encounter rowdy children, and people there are not too welcoming to the strangers, and the atmosphere there is cold. This is where Steve mentions that this place is going to be developed soon into a gated community, and he thought it's going to be the best time for him to propose Jenny there. The couple arrives at the secluded part of the lake and they begin to relax. This is where we saw a group of teenagers arrive there with a loud dog named Bonnie. The group of teenagers are intentionally loud and aggressive to provoke the couple. Steve looked at them, he couldn't take it, and he went to them, tried to request them to turn down the volume of the music, resulting in a heated verbal exchange with their leader named Brett. Steve then left the situation alone, tried to avoid a fight. The next day, couple wakes up only to find that their supplies have been infested by the insects placed by the gang. Steve then discovers that his tire has been flat because there was a bottle placed underneath the tire. Steve then went to a nearby town with a spare tire, and this is where he saw the gang. Steve then went there, tried to confront that gang, but adults there confronted and protected the boys because they went hostile towards the strangers. Steve and Jenny then returned back to the lake for a final swim. As they were swimming, the gang arrived there and they stole their bag that had their wallets and the car key inside. As Steve and Jenny, they're done with the swimming, they went back only to find that their car is missing from the parking lot. As they realized that, they also realized that they're stranded in the forest, and they started walking through the forest to track down the gang. As Steve and Jenny passing through the woods, they found the gang there deep in the woods around the fire with their stolen car. Steve then tries to get his keys back, leading to a fight. Bonnie, the dog, attacks Steve, and in that chaos, Steve accidentally stabs Bonnie the dog and kills it. Brett, on the other hand, becomes devastated and he threw the keys to Steve and he enters the state of a psychotic rage. Now with the car keys, Steve and Jenny gets inside the car and they try to escape through the woods. As they were escaping, the gang chased them and they started throwing rocks at the vehicle. Steve then crashes the vehicle into the ravine and he is pinned down inside the wreckage by a branch. Jenny then forced to flee because the gang approaches the car and they saw Steve pinned in the car. They then pulled Steve outside the car and they took him as a prisoner. Now comes the most brutal scene in the entire film, or according to some critics, it's the most brutal film in the entire British cinema. As Jenny watches Steve through the trees, the gang ties Steve up with the barbed wire. Then we saw Brett took out his phone and started recording the event. He then forces each member of his gang to stab Steve as he stabbed his dog. So they are all legally responsible. Then we saw Jenny creates a distraction and she manages to cut Steve loose. Jenny then hides Steve in a hollow ground and then she tells him that she will bring help. As she was running, she got caught in a big wooden spike that pierced through her foot. She then went down on the ground and she screamed, which spotted her, and then she took the spike out of her foot and covers her wound so that she keeps moving. She then hides herself in a big bin that's filled with animal carcasses to avoid being spotted by the gang. Jenny then finds Adam, the youngest member in the gang, and she begged him for help. Jenny then gave Adam her engagement ring as a reward for help. Adam then called Brett on his cell phone and gave away her location. The gang then tied Jenny up, and then Brett punishes Adam for talking to Jenny, and he tied Adam up and set him on fire. Jenny then manages to escape during the chaos of Adam's execution. She's being then cornered by Ricky. In the pure survival instincts, Jenny then stabs Ricky in the neck with a sharp wooden stake. Then Ricky bleeds out and he dies. Jenny then finds a small shed in the garden and she hides in. Paige, the only girl in the gang, she enters the shed and she discovers Jenny there. Before Paige can scream and alert everybody, Jenny stabs her in the throat with the large shard of glass. Then Jenny leaves the shed as Paige died on the floor. Cooper then becomes overwhelmed by the guilt and he told Brett that he's going to call the police. Brett views this as a betrayal and he stabs Cooper to death to keep the gang silent. By this point, Steve, he died from the injuries he sustained by the torture. Jenny then reaches the road and she flags down a car that was passing by. The driver, Liam, there agrees to help her. As they drive, Jenny sees a picture of Ricky on the dashboard with a memorial card. This is where Jenny realizes that Ricky was the brother of Liam. Jenny, in terror, remains silent as Liam drive her directly into their home. Jenny enters the house and she begs the gathered adults for help. Then the remaining members of the gang arrives there and they saw Jenny there. Then Brett lies and told everyone that she is the murderer and she attacked them first. Then we saw the parents watching Brett torturing Steve videos and they decide to protect their children. Then the men dragged Jenny into the bathroom to execute her. In the last shot of the film, we saw Brett putting Steve's sunglasses and deleting those incriminating videos. Now let's wrap up this video and let me give you my 2 cents about the film. I think the plot of the film was very simple. It could have been improved. There were some major plot holes in the film. The biggest one being was why Steve decided to go to that lake. We understand that He wants to propose Jenny there, but the main reason was very ambiguous. The second is the teenagers. Why are they always rude, abusive? And one of the scenes we saw that their parents were very loud, they're rude to their children. But is that it? We need to have more story of their connection with their children. And where are they getting all that barbed wire and all of that? They got too much power. They're pretty much like they're warriors and they've been doing this for years and years, right? Coming from a teenager. And the last is Jenny. She's a trained athlete or trained, I would say, a warrior. She's been going through all of that. And on the other hand, Steve, he's like freaking not doing too much, try to save himself. Yeah, he's a man. He could take on to those teenagers. But anyways, this was my 2 cents. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down your thoughts on it, and please let me know which movie you want me to cover next. This is Ali signing off. I catch you in the next one. Peace out.